Hi buddies, hope you're doing fine. In this series, we will discuss about the important one words from the Romantic Age. If you are ready, let's get started. Walter Scott brought out his novel, The Legend of Monsters, in the year 1819. The history of England is a theme of Scott's novel Ivanhoe. In Austen's Pride and Prejudice, the name of the clergyman is Mr. Collins. Jane Thorpe is a character in the novel Northanger Abbey, whose novels can be considered as domestic or the tea table novels. George Eliot. How many novels did Jane Austen write? 6. Who wrote The Confession of an English Opium Eater? Thomas D. Quincy. Who called Haywood a sort of prose Shakespeare? Evelyn Waugh. The Decline and Fall of Roman Empire was written by Gibbons, which begins with the reign of Trajan in AD 98 and ends with the fall of the Byzantine Empire in 1453. Shelley was influenced by the book Political Justice. Keats died in 1821 and Shelley died in the year 1822. Robert Southey and Coleridge died in the same year, 1834. The House of Aspen is the only play by Scott. The Tiger is a poem by Blake. Richard Sheridan, born in 1752, died in 1816. How many plays of Shakespeare have been given prose form in Tales from Shakespeare? 20. Don Juan was written by Byron. Byron's Don Juan is an epic satire. Corbett's Political Register appeared in the year 1802. Wordsworth, The Excursion, though completed before 1810, appeared in the year 1814. Who said, I never thought as a child, never had the language of a child? Coleridge. Frost at Midnight, a meditative poem, was written by Coleridge. Byron wrote his tragedies in blank verse. Shelley's O World, O Life, O Time is a lyric. Keats' The Eve of St. Agnes is a story of the elopement of two lovers. Samuel Rogers' Jacqueline is a Byronic tale. Washington Irving's historical work, The Conquest of Granada, appeared in the year 1829. Is it true that almost no substantial comedy was written during the Romantic period? True. To Autumn is a poem by Keats, who wrote the following line: The desire of the moth for the store, of the night for the tomorrow, the devotion to something after from the sphere of our borrow. Shelley. In Scottish folklore, the appearance of a born shoe signifies a drunkard. The Saint's Everlasting Rest was written by Baxter. Rosamund Grey is a novel by Lamb. The name of John Keats' first poem is Endymion. Leigh Hunt's The Examiner appeared in the year 1808. Who is the writer of Lucy poems? Wordsworth. Coleridge met Wordsworth in the year 1797. Which one of the following works of Coleridge was published posthumously? Table Talk. Which tragedy of Lord Byron was not produced in 1821? Manfred. John Keats came in contact with Leigh Hunt in the year 1816. Which work of Keats is based on Burton's The Anatomy of Melancholy? Lamia. Which work of Leigh Hunt is a novel? Sir Rolfe Esher, who had an afflicted sister? Charles Lamb. Shelley's Mask of Anarchy is a satire. Remorse, a tragedy, was written by Coleridge. Francis Jeffrey was the editor of the Edinburgh Review. Keats took the Endymion story from Greek mythology. What is the name of an 18th century painter whose one painting is still in the National Portrait Gallery? He was also an author and essayist. Hazlitt. The Lady of the Lake is a poem by Walter Scott, who defines elegy as the form of poetry natural to the reflective mind, which may use any subject so long as it is related to the poet himself. Coleridge. The Old English Baron is a novel by Clara Reeve. Shelley's To a Skylark came out with Prometheus Unbound. Corneille is the name of a French dramatist who wrote for Spenser, the gentle bard chosen by the muse for their page of state. Sweet Spenser, I call him brother, Englishman and friend, Wordsworth, who wrote a long poem, The Task, William Cowper. The task was written at the suggestion of Lady Aston. The task has been written in blank verse. God made the country is an extract from the task. Who made the cryptic remark that Milton was of the devil's party without knowing it? Blake. John Keats' first poem is Endymion. William Cowper's last poem is The Cataway. Shelley's Epictetus is a rhapsody extolling platonic love. Proud Maisie is a ballad by Scott. Christabel is an unfinished poem by Coleridge, for which book Shelley was expelled from the Oxford University. The Necessity of Atheism. On which work was Shelley working when he died? The Time of Life. Shelley's Defense of Poetry, written in 1821, was published in the year 1840. Shelley's Adonis is an elegy. Blake's Song of Experience came out in the year 1794. To a Skylark is a poem by Shelley. Queen Mab is an aesthetic poem of Shelley, who wrote The Four Ages of Poetry, Peacock. Prometheus Unbound was written by Shelley, who said that ruins of time build mansions in eternity. Blake, who said the child is the father of the man. Wordsworth. Coleridge's newspaper The Watchman appeared in the year 1796. Which play of Byron is about an outcast who defies the censure of the world? Coin. Who died at the age of 25? Keats. Keats' Otto the Great is a drama. Who came to be known as the Eric Shepherd? James Hogg. Mary Lamb, the sister of Charles Lamb, murdered her mother in the year 1796. The only instance of comedy during the Romantic period is Oedipus Tyrannus of Swellfoot the Tyrant. Who wrote it? Shelley. Jane Austen and Charles Lamb were born in the same year, 1775. She was a heroine whom no one but myself will much like. Who is Jane Austen referring to? Emma. Walter de la Mare wrote the poem The Listeners. The listeners in The Listeners are phantoms. Holy Thursday is a poem by Blake. In his Above Ben Adam, Lehan says, Love your fellow man. The Jolly Beggars is a sequence of ballads by Burns. Lehan, a poet associated with Keats, was born in 1784 and died in 1859. Who composed these lines? He prayeth best, who loveth best, all things both great and small. Coleridge in Ancient Mariner. Childe Harold's Pilgrimage was written by Lord Byron. Who wrote Ode to Skylark? Shelley. Who does not belong to Satanic school of criticism? Blake. Poetical Sketches is a work by Blake. Blake's prophetic books does not include the poem Songs of Innocence. The lyric The Tiger was composed by William Blake. Wordsworth was made the poet laureate in the year 1843. In which poem do the lines "We have given our hearts away and we are out of tune" appear? The world is too much with us. Who says, I am certain of nothing but the holiness of the heart's affection and truth of imagination? Keats. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. If you are having any suggestion, let me know in the comment section. We'll see you in next video. Tada, bye bye.